The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host, David White, on a day of a lot of introspective out here as a student of history. We've got history right in front of us today, and kind of interesting, especially if you are a student of history. Of course, anybody that is in the stock market very long looks to patterns and why patterns exist in the stock market. That's because of human behavior, and it hardly ever changes. There was a great quote, and that quote is, if you don't know your history, you are bound to repeat it. And we're seeing that play out on the national stage today. My belief is that a lot of people disbelieve, probably like the stock market. There's always the "it's different this time" crowd. It's a lot of parallels into good decision making, whether you're trading stocks or betting the lives of all the people you represent. It's easy to see how people can have various and different ideas about the way things should play out, but history gives us some context if we'll look for it. As we start the day off here today, minus 12 points on the S&P cash with a little less than 2 billion shares. So volume, again, not knocking the doors down, either up or down. I'm pretty much all cash in my daily newsletter. I have one longer-term trade, but for the most part, I like sitting in all cash right now. I suspect what we are looking at is the wind-up, and that wind-up is going to be a pop higher out of this little trading range, and that volume will tell us whether or not this is a nice little short squeeze, all the volume falls out, and then an opportunity to short the market, or we break out of here with volume and come back with light volume and are able to buy this pullback for what should be a huge run to the upside. But I always like a market where I have either a little downside and a lot of upside, or a little upside and a lot of downside. I don't like a market where the signals right now basically, could we go up 200 points or down 200 points? Yeah. Could it happen a matter of 5 minutes? Yeah. Or 10 minutes? The problem here is that the risks are equally balanced, and I don't like a coin flip. I would rather see something different. And I have a feeling the way we're setting up here, and something I learned quite a long time ago from Tim Ord, was that when markets hang out at highs, they're going to break out. And they just have to hang out there. If they just kind of gently pick at the top or violently pick at the top, as long as they hang around there, you're probably going to see that market get broke out to the top. Now, it could be a false breakout or a real breakout. But one thing you want to do is make sure that you wait and, as I like to say, do the Karate Kid thing, which is best way to avoid fight, not be there. On some individual stocks, I think you could be playing them right now. I think probably at best you've got maybe a profit. At worst, a big loss if you're on the wrong side of this market. And like I said, I just don't see anything better or worse on one side or the other. Printing off at 2107 on the S&P cash, which puts us down 10 points on the S&P, which is nothing. You would have thought that someone lost a limb or an eye if you were watching infotainment TV today. This is nothing more than a blip on the radar being down 10 points. And like I said, I continue to say that, the best it's probably going to be is going to be at today's close. We're going to see people try to dial in the last few minutes and these fund managers pretty much get in today, maybe a few in the morning, but the question is whether or not that will be it, and everybody's piled in here at the top, and that's it. What we do see is a very narrow market where most of the biggest, most prestigious stocks, as they used to say, no one fires you for buying IBM, whether in the stock market or buying a PC. That is the same. If you buy J&J, it doesn't matter whether it goes up or down. No one's going to can you out here. It's a trusted stock. It is the belief that there's, it was a quality stock. I hear these morons on CNBC all the time saying, well, you just have to, you can't time the market. You can't do this. You can't do that. And these pathetic losers that say that apparently haven't been around me or a lot of other people that I've seen that have mastered the stock market, at least to some extent. Far in existence of what the S&Ps give you back over time. Some people might say that it's, if you're in a managed fund, then that's great, and probably better than a actively managed fund by somebody else who's dipping deep into your profits. But what I'm saying is that there's probably a much better thing, and that's waiting for the fat pitch. I brought that up several times out there, and I suspect we are going to have that fat pitch come out here fairly soon. And that starts off the day. We're going to get into a little news. I was basically looking at a lot of stocks out here today, so I don't have a lot of slides out here, but we will get going. Now, today, of course, Bibi Netanyahu was out talking, and only thing I could think of is this one pivotal event that led to World War II, and it was called the policy of appeasement. And the phrase peace in our time was spoken on 30th September 1938 by Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain. And pretty much this speech and it being recorded, which was probably the most important thing, it could be played back, kind of like all kinds of things out there. But once we were able to replay things and not just put them in print, they became much more real, whether it's a videotape of someone getting beaten like Rodney King, I think on this day in 1991. Video makes it real for us, and every time we see it, whether it's 9/11 or anything else that comes back. Now, there's a famous picture of the Peace in Our Time speech, but it was also recorded. I'm going to play it, just a small portion of it here.
This morning, I had another talk with the German Chancellor, Herr Hitler. And here is the paper which bears his name upon it as well as mine.
And, of course, if you don't remember the beginning of the Second World War, they basically said, yeah, you can go in and take the German-speaking parts of Czechoslovakia. Of course, he didn't stop there. He went on to Poland and France and just about every other country he could get into. They all cheered. They cheered. There would be no war.
Some of you perhaps have already heard what it contains, but I would just like to read it to you. We, the German Führer and Chancellor, and the British Prime Minister, have had a further meeting today and are agreed in recognizing that the question of Anglo-German relations is of the first importance for the two countries and for Europe.
And he gets on a little bit, but mostly waving around a piece of paper that says the Germans won't do anything wrong. Of course, they ignored the fact that Hitler had written a book some 300 pages long, which I have read, by the way. I read for my German speaking class in German. There's no doubt about it. So if someone's writing you letters saying they're going to kill you, I don't think you can actually just walk away and say, they really didn't mean it. That's it. Anyway.
We regard the agreement signed last night and the Anglo-German naval agreement as symbolic of the desire of our two peoples never to go to war with one another again.
And of course, within a year, it all blew up in their face. Is there any making a deal with an insane person or a truly evil person? And the questions that we have today are all about that. But I do digress. But only thing I can think about with a real discussion now on whether or not you should have insane people with nuclear weapons, whether it's today or in 10 years. But I digress. Anyway, other things going on out here in the stock market today. We've been talking for a while about how some of the things that really kind of worry me about the automobile business was the subprime loans. We talked about this starting probably 9 months ago, if not 10 months ago. And if you want to think about subprime, we talked a little bit about yesterday and some of the subprime people. I put it in my newsletter yesterday, and that was that Wells Fargo had last year put about 15% of its loans into subprime loans. Yesterday, they stated they were going to cut that to 10%. Now, today we see that OneMain, which is a division of Citi, was sold to Springleaf, which is all this OneMain is all subprime loan car loans. And the question is, are we getting to that point in car loans? Now, Ford came out and General Motors came out. I think Chrysler also came out with their sales, and they're all blaming the weather, blaming the rain. But it is kind of tough out there to figure out exactly if it's just the sales or maybe a lot of this discussion going on in the subprime business. But just like a lot of these big lending institutions wanted to get out of the subprime housing business, we're seeing a lot of people start to skedaddle from the subprime car business. Let's take a look at General Motors real quick, too. A little less. Chrysler, I think, was up, but not up enough. Of course, they're all saying that the numbers will come back next month, and we'll probably want to take a look at that. But I think on the margin, a lot of the extra cars that have come along in the last 18 to 24 months have been in those subprime areas. And what do we mean by subprime? And that means that if you paid out the loan all the time, not only is the interest rate higher, but the car will be below what you owe on it for a considerable period starting about 5 years into the loan, because a lot of these loans are going out 8 years. So I would just say be very careful if we're looking at big plays in General Motor or Ford. Ford's numbers probably not as good as a lot of people thought, but again, it's hard to buy a truck that's $3,000 more than another one, even if it gets 2 more miles per gallon, supposedly, on the EPA chart. But, just my opinion. We'll be back in a minute.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Check out the new look, Tiger TV. Now you can see all hosts, charts, and computer screens live in high definition. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pesavento, Andy Hecht, Thinkorswim, or Carol Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV. Now, crystal clear in high definition, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't seen the new look of Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You've always taken the long view when it comes to investing, but what if there's an opportunity right under your nose? What if you could be more responsive to market trends to seek to boost your portfolio performance right now while seeking to reduce your overall risk? At Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at directionfunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
I don't spend a lot of time on bonds, but another thing that's I found very interesting is a lot of discussion around Sirius XM Holdings, which is, of course, the satellite radio system. I had it for quite a few years, and of course, with the internet, not so much anymore. And not a lot of people talking about Sirius XM satellite devices in cars. They're talking about, of course, internet-enabled cars. So what we found out over the last 24 hours, or actually a little less than that, I think after the bell last night, was that Sirius XM was able to place a huge amount of money. I think, what was it, 800 million or something, maybe a little less than $1 billion in bonds out for 10 years at 5%, and a pretty good payback. But for a stock trading at $4, you got to start scratching your head. And I think some of the people out there commenting today are Santelli. But a lot of other people and from PIMCO and the rest are kind of raising an eye out here, especially when you look at these long-term bonds. And the answer seems to be that there just isn't enough paper to satisfy demand. Everybody's looking for a place to park cash, and they can't get it. So that you give a company that's on the ropes, it's a $4 stock. SIRI, I think is the symbol for this thing. SIRI, that someone's going to give a bunch of cash back to this company. Now, there's a little bit more to it, and that is, of course, that once they get this cash, of course, the company's a lot less thinking about going going broke, right? They've got cash now, so it's not such a big deal. And I don't know what else you can say about that other than this thing is back up to its resistance level. Should probably be seeing a lot more volume if you were going to break through this. But looks like it could come up to the October 23rd, 2013 high at 418, where you had 53 million shares. That was kind of a blow-off top, and this thing has done nothing but go back and fill this. Interesting business, basically a monopoly, and a monopoly that does not matter with the internet. I like the service, or did like the service. It just seemed to me like, for the most part, once I had a cell phone, that cell phone had data to it, I get unlimited data. Is it worth it to pay the $10 to get Howard Stern, I think, which is probably the only thing. There's a few other people that are fairly interesting. One of the things I disliked was they degraded their signal, i.e. the actual audio, and wanted it actually degraded it on the standard equipment, wanted me to spend another 200 and some odd bucks to buy a quote audiophile version of the XM satellite. And it is, to me, it just seemed rather ludicrous to pay for them, especially when you can, you can get 24-bit, 192 kilohertz sampled audio now. There's also a device that I have called a Pono, which plays uncompressed audio, much like a, just think of it as a audiophile version of a iPad, or not an iPad, an iPod. But interestingly, that's kind of out there. Now, can I say Cirrus is dumb to take it? No. Is 5% a little high? Well, when you compare it to Apple, which is about 2%, yeah, it's 5% kind of high. But you're betting that this company is not going to get wiped out in the next 10 years before these things play out, which gives you a good, yeah, some people still subscribe. It's not a business, but is this a growth business, or is this a business with a finite amount of people that use it, and that's all there's ever going to be? And my guess is that with new cars getting, especially over the next couple of years with General Motors, Ford, and Chrysler, and even BMW, I think getting these new standard Wi-Fi models, you're going to spend about the same amount, but you're not going to be limited to what XM can give you. And the antennas are going to be really good on the Wi-Fi devices. When you go under a bridge or the rains hard, the Wi-Fi probably still going to work fine. Actually, it's LTE. I shouldn't call it Wi-Fi. But you're going to have Wi-Fi in the car to your own devices. Does it make a lot of sense? And I think the answer is that these guys may just be going sideways for a long time. They certainly have the cash now to pay Howard Stern for a while, so he's got to be happy. But boy, it's tough. Anyway, watch when this thing breaks 418. That's going to give us the answer. We'll be back in a minute.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how EverBank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? EverBank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? EverBank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. EverBank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. EverBank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we had some questions that were emailed to me. And yeah, what else can you say? But they more about Siri, so we'll go to that, and then I'll hop back to Siri for a minute. But the questions were about audio quality. When Siri started getting ready to launch in the, whatever it was, 1998 or 1999, there was a issue, and that is back in the late 70s, 80s, a lot of the radio stations would play in the entire albums at midnight, and people would tape record them, and I would too. And that's perfectly legal, and I'd put them in my cassette player and play them instead of buy the album. If I really liked it, I bought it on vinyl and really listened to it. But if I was in the car, I may just want to listen to an album, so I'd set up my tape deck, record it that night, and then play it the next day if I drove to work and back, and find out whether I really liked it and I should buy it. I had fairly expensive stereo equipment even when I was 20. And loved the high fidelity audio systems and vinyl and what it sounded like, and had big magnaplanar speakers, if anybody knew what those want. But because the music business got kind of ticked off at that, they basically made a deal that you couldn't play any 3 songs off the same album in 1 hour. Now, there was also some language in there that was rather vague. So when XM and Sirius decided to put their satellites up and get the data, I think it's either the Library of Congress, it was somebody, that said that they had to degrade the digital signal off the CDs that they were playing. So they are, in fact, lower quality than CD quality. And I've seen nothing that says that has changed since then. They also agreed to make sure that their audio devices, for the most part, were not the cleanest of devices out there. They'd have a little hum and noise in it. And that's pretty much continued. Although they've offered better devices that don't have the hum and noise in it, the audiophile versions, which I don't know if they even sell anymore, but the signal is always going to be less than CD. And with things like Spotify giving you basically the bits as they come on the CD at 44.1 kilohertz sampling rate at 16 bits, it's pretty good. But again, like I said, the audio can be higher quality. The stereos are getting better. The chips that go in your home, your car stereo are getting better. And to me, if you can listen with a higher quality without any thing other than the internet that you're probably already paying for, does it make any sense to have something like XM satellite? It does if you have content you can only get there. Like I said, Howard Stern, there's a few other shows they have on there that people actually like. But yes, no, I love my Spotify Premium. Better than Pandora? Yes, I think it's so. I think I can listen to both of them. I left Pandora in the dust a while ago, but none of the none of the channels on Sirius XM are anything as close to the audio quality you'll get on Spotify. And if you're into it, there is a huge burgeoning piracy business in offering 24-bit sampled 192 kilohertz sampled audio on BitTorrent. And that's become a great deal. And that is people buying the vinyl and then sharing the digital content on it, because no one's making that very wonderful high resolution audio besides Pono. And so that becomes an issue also. So anyway, I just don't see the long term on Sirius. I think those bond holders are going to be bag holders in the future. But I do digress. Anyway, what do we have? Andy Heck is coming up here. It is Tuesday. He'll be coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. His good buddy from a long time ago, Andy Hall, is hitting the news. He is covering his shorts in the market, and you could probably make when that news kind of hit, you could kind of see that crude started to go up. There were other kind of news articles like Netanyahu speaking too, so you can't say that for a fact it went up on that. But crude kind of went up a little bit. What do we have right now? $50.44, up 85 cents. So not a wonderful thing, but basically news that Andy Hall has gotten out of his shorts in the crude market, and maybe he just did what I say, which is these big guys, when the market gives you an opportunity to get out of a monster short, you take it. And I would imagine if I was talking to him, and right now he would probably say what I say, which is sell when you can, not when you have to, cover when you can, not when you have to, and that was probably it. But not a huge move out here, but when we look back into the summer, this other indexes out here, seeing a little bit of that. And, you know, even things like Doug down a little bit if you were bearish on oil, off 1.33%. But again, kind of what you're looking for in that market. We are off just a little less than 10 points on the S&P cash, but volume's starting to pick up just a little bit on this little pop, just under 2.2 billion shares. So not huge volume, but interesting volume. Now, there has been speculation that basically the Alibaba guy got it about as good as he could get. And I think that's probably a good way to look at it out here. But if we go back on Alibaba, It basically is now breaking through the October 15th lows before it had its huge run up during the fall. That was at $82.81 with 16 million shares. We've gone through it. Looks like we're going to close below that today on 30 million shares. And if you believe in news driven, this is certainly part of that. We talked probably 6 weeks, 2 months ago about China really tightening up on flash products and how much money Alibaba was making selling Rolex watches and Cavassier and 30-year-old Scotch and all the other stuff that the people, the ultra rich of China, were buying through Alibaba. It looks like a great deal of that has cut loose. Their earnings weren't any better. What they are now looking at now is getting a microscope put on them by the Chi-Com government, and they really don't like it. They don't like people smoking, they don't like people gambling, and they don't like a lot of other things that are going on. Basically kind of sliding back to the Communist Manifesto and Mao's Little Red Book back again. Mostly because, of course, I don't think they want a lot of people flashing cash as their economy starts to cool. None of the numbers coming out in the last 4 weeks looked any better for China, and they didn't look any better today. I think if it was the Shanghai down 2% today, and not incapable of seeing Alibaba down on that, the same thing. Don't like 30-year-old Scotch. I prefer something fresher. Yes, Scotch from yesterday. That's always the ticket. So that's it. So, yeah, Spotify is great. I don't subscribe to the premium. I do subscribe to Spotify, though. What else is going on out here? That's pretty much it. Let's go back out here and take a look and see if we've got anything else on my radar. CVE. Nice little bounce out here this morning. Not a bad looking thing. I would just like this thing to get down to the Cernovus Energy. I think someone came out and said something nice about it. One of the big titans of Wall Street. December 16th, this thing hit $16.11, 7.4 million shares. It still hasn't got back and tested, but it's testing its January 29th low that had 3.3 million shares with lighter volume. So maybe, you know, we kind of got into that candle of December 16th, but haven't really filled it. Could it bounce? Yes, I would certainly like it to crack that $16.11 before I would put a trade on it, but interesting nonetheless. Closed its previous announced deal of common share financing for gross proceeds of $1.5 billion, upgraded to outperform by RBC Capital Markets. And what else do we have? AA, even on, as they say, announced that Alcoa announced completed the acquisition of privately held Total after receiving all the acquired global regulatory approvals, and up about 2%. Kind of interesting that, of course, not very decent car numbers. And, of course, most of this big run from Alcoa has been the promise that aluminum will be the manufacturing product of the future. And, of course, right after that, everybody committed to aluminum with Ford F-150. The prices dropped significantly, of crude anyway. We've got a high volume low that still is not tested down here at 1371, and I suspect that sooner rather than later we're going to see that is tested. That was the October 15th low. Yeah, 36 million shares of October 15th of 2014, 15th of 2014. So keep an eye on that. Other stocks of interest on the losing side, SSN. It's following Stryker out here on buyback news, but what can you say? A lot of M&A speculation. It didn't really move much. Is this SNN, not SSN? And I don't know what else you can say. This thing, if you were wanting to buy it, this is it. This is where it should find support. It shouldn't go any lower than this. It had a huge sign of strength on the 23rd of December with almost 4 million shares. It's back into it with about 2 million shares. What was the low a day on that 23rd? $33.61. But Smith and Nephew, is that how it is? I think so. Back into that low. I really don't know a lot about this company. Let's check them out a little bit more. Develops, manufactures, markets, sells medical devices in the advanced surgical devices and wound management sectors. Of course, like Stryker, but interesting. Some downgrades in the hard drive sector hitting this today. STX down fairly strongly. Of course, pretty horrible earnings. We were short this in the Tech Insider and pretty much got all the wood on the ball you could in this move from December 23rd down to the 30th of January. Down, not a lot of volume out here. Looked like it could come back and test these lows. Let's take a quick look at WDC. A little bit of weakness in that. Not a lot of volume out here today. Kind of got down to the 105 level before we started to bounce. Keep an eye on this market. Off a little 12 points on the S&P cash, but not a lot of volume in the last 15 minutes. IBB is moving. Of course, there were a few stocks out here that were weaker. We're off $3.11, which really still does not bust any of the uptrends on it. And you would really like to see at least some busting. Well, I guess you got the first part of that today. You would like a solid close below. It's kind of close to break at least a short-term uptrend in this market. But I suspect this thing can go sideways a little bit longer. You can always give me a call at 877-927-6648. That's 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com or post a message in the den. Yes, I don't drink 30 old scotch. Okay, so what else do we have out here? See if there's anything else. Oh, go back to my list of stuff out here. We were talking earlier about a lot of this subprime business. Leaf is the company buying out One Main, LEAF, and a huge pop out here today for this, but Anna Doji announced it will acquire One Main Financial from Citigroup for $4.25 billion. Expects transaction to be accretive in 2017's earnings by $470 million right off the bat. So the question is, what happens long term? And if Citigroup is spinning it off, maybe they don't think there's as much there as maybe Leaf thinks there are. I don't know. Greeks bearing gifts. When we come back, we'll talk about Exxon, X-O-N. Nextron, it's popping and breaking out. Give me a call, email me, post a message in the den.
Trade with confidence and clarity while using the software that thousands of institutional traders rely on to make the best and most accurate decisions. Choose from 1,000 equities, currencies, and futures instruments utilizing the TAS architecture. As seen on Bloomberg terminals worldwide, the TAS Profile Scanner is a benchmark technical filtering system that thousands of traders rely on, and now you can too. For a limited time for TFNN subscribers only, we've reduced the price to just $97. That's over 75% off. John Logan hosted a special subscriber-only webinar in December, and you'll gain access to that archive as well, so you can learn exactly what the TAS Profile Scanner can do for you. Try this product out. No matter what you trade, the TAS Profile Scanner can help you make more informed trading decisions. There's no obligation to pay anything. Don't let this offer pass you by. Get your 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner today by signing up at TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy. A set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
That's right, the Tom O'Brien Show in the next hour. And then I think we've got some earnings coming out after the bell tonight that'll be interesting. In the hour after that, then we got Andy Heck, and he'll probably be talking about his good buddy Andy Hall. So maybe we'll get a little insight there. So a lot of good programming to continue throughout the rest of the day on TFNN. And our Extron Corporation came out with earnings, and they swang from a fairly decent loss of 18 cents a share to 15 cents, or a loss of 15 cents a share to a gain of 18 cents a share. Of course, these biotechnology companies are heaven and hell. It's heaven today with a significant breakout with a volume in this, and XON. You probably, if you want to play biotechs, look for this to come back down to $43 on light volume, and maybe you get a chance to go out after it for there. Okay, what else we have? A really nasty downgrade for mankind, MNKD. And Goldman Sachs basically telling you that these guys are going to basically blow up in flames and catch fire and run away as quickly as you can. But down fairly significantly. It was down 9% earlier this morning. It's a little bit better out here today. But as we look at this down on volume, you still wanted this thing to test the October 13th low before you got in it. That's $4.45. So it's still significantly lower than here. But if this squeezes out all the people and maybe things turned around, maybe not too bad. I didn't read the actual downgrade on it, but this one's been discussed, I guess, a great deal around TFNN and on infotainment TV, financial infotainment, mostly because of an interesting way that you can deliver insulin in a powder nasally through an inhaler. And if you don't have to take a shot and you've got diabetes, probably a pretty good thing. But old Goldman's out there raining on your parade today. One thing you don't ever want to do is delay your reporting. And we are seeing one of the stocks that's down fairly strong today that's Acorn, ARKN, down on significant volume. It filed for an extension for fiscal year 2014, and it is the roach theory. You see this, you go running, because one roach means many roaches, and that's what everybody's worried about in this one today. But certainly back down to the gap where this thing gapped up with high volume just a few days ago. But the thought is going to be that there's a restatement coming always when you ask for an extension. And I'd say that's probably right about 80% of the time, so you have to keep a look at that. Now, one of the things, if you are not long this stock already, and I'll be interested to hear Tom O'Brien's call on this in the next hour, but it announced $800 million in a deal in financing with underwriter syndicate Scotiabank, proposed sale of 38.9 million common shares at $20.55 a share, which basically says that this thing should be worth less than $20.55 a share. And that's exactly what happened out here. Now, once they get that cash, everything settles out. Probably a little less of an issue with them going bankrupt anytime soon. But again, this is one of the reasons why I've been so shy and talked about being shy. Some of these gold stocks, if they had weak financials, that they were going to have to go to the well one more time or go broke. And Silver Wheaton back to the well. Anyway, I'll look for Tom O'Brien's call on this in the next hour. In the meantime, so when you can, not when you have to. We'll see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. You're watching Tiger TV.